The woman at the well is one of my favorite Bible stories because it shows us that when we think God is through with us, He has plans to use us in ways we would never dream of. In this video, we're going to look at what the woman at the well teaches us about how God chooses ordinary people like you and me to do extraordinary things for Him. But here's where our story takes a turn. Rachel had two choices. She could either stay under the bridge and give in to despair, or she could take the first step out of her situation. She chose the latter and soon found herself enrolled in a rehab program. This story starts with Jesus needing to travel through a town called Sychem. Jesus decided to stop at a well to get some water, because a Jewish man wasn't supposed to talk to a Samaritan woman, much less ask her for a drink. But something inside her compelled her to answer Jesus, and she said, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" Now, even though they were from different races and religions, the woman didn't let that stop her from giving Jesus what he asked for. Then he says, "But an hour is coming when neither in this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. Neither will you worship Him in spirits and trances, for the Son is the one who is to be honored." And we can see that when Jesus came to her city later on, many believed in Him. So let's close with 3 lessons from this encounter. For the Father is seeking such as these to worship Him. Then the woman said to him, "I know that Messiah is coming." Why? Because Jesus came to save sinners. He didn't come to hang out with religious leaders, but to reach the lost. Are you willing to allow Him to use you in ways you never imagined? If so, I want to encourage you to pray and ask God what He wants you to do with your life. Ask Him to show you how He wants to use you. Ask Him to give you a passion for reaching the lost. And ask Him to help you overcome any fears or doubts you may have. Don't let another minute go by without saying yes to Jesus. Don't let another person die without you telling them about Jesus. And don't let another opportunity pass by without allowing God to use you in it. And that means that if you're willing to say yes to Jesus, He may use you in ways you can't imagine. Just like the woman at the well, you might feel like your life is a series of disappointments or that you've failed in life. But the truth is, God sees you and has plans to use you in ways you would never dream of. When He comes, He will heal our diseases and restore all our substance. Then Jesus said to her, "I am He." And make sure you subscribe so you're re-notified each time we drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Now, it wasn't unusual for Jesus to interact with people like tax collectors and sinners. And when the woman realized who Jesus really was, she fell at His feet and worshiped Him. But wait, there's more. After the woman encountered Jesus, she left everything and went to tell the people in her city that she just met the Messiah. She was lost spiritually because she didn't know the true God. Instead, He treated her with honor and respect. And when He revealed Himself to her, He didn't condemn her, but instead set her free and gave her new life. Jesus does the same for anyone who puts their faith in Him. He doesn't call us to shame, but to freedom. And when He calls us, He gives us a new identity in Him. So don't let your past define you, because in Jesus, you are more than your mistakes. She was lost relationally because she had no relationship with her Heavenly Father. And she was lost physically because she was alone and afraid. But despite her situation, Jesus sought her out and showed her genuine love and compassion. And if Jesus can seek out and save someone like her, then He can do the same for you. No matter where you are, what you've done, or what you may be struggling with, Jesus seeks you out to show you genuine love and compassion. And they left everything and followed Him. But in this case, no one was around except for a lone woman drawing water. You see, women weren't allowed to draw water during the day because it made them vulnerable to attack. But this woman probably had no choice. Either she had to draw water during the day and risk getting hurt, or she had to wait until night and risk someone contaminating the water. Now, normally Jews didn't travel through Sychem because it was a Samaritan city and Jews and Samaritans hated each other. But Jesus needed to get to a place called Galilee, and that meant he had to pass through Sychar. Let's get into it. You have been married 5 times, and the man you are living with now is not your husband. You're right, woman. You have 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now is not your husband. You've said it. For you Samaritans worship what you do not know. This woman's life was completely messed up, and yet Jesus still treated her with dignity and respect. Now, if you've ever felt like your life was a series of disappointments, or that you had failed in life, then I want you to meet a woman named Rachel. She's an unwed mother who grew up in the projects and never knew her father. And she replied, "I am not married, and I do not have a father." And this is where we find out the woman at the well wasn't just any woman. She was a prostitute who had 5 husbands, and her current boyfriend wasn't even her husband. She became pregnant at 16, got kicked out of her house by her mom, ended up homeless and sleeping under a bridge while enduring verbal and sexual abuse from men. On the screen was a woman from the Bible who looked back at her and said, "You don't have to live like this anymore. There's hope for you." The woman in the video told her story of how she went from being despised and rejected by society to becoming a hero to thousands. That woman was the woman at the well, and without knowing it, she had just changed Rachel's life forever. And then when she finally found help, she got addicted to drugs and alcohol. But more importantly, we'll see how she can change your life too. Welcome to the channel. It's my goal to help you understand the Bible in a way that makes sense and helps you grow in your walk with Christ. And we're doing that by covering the top 20 most important stories in the Bible, starting with the story of the woman at the well. So if you're new here, subscribe so you can be reminded each time we release a new video. If you've ever been through tough times, I'm sure you can relate to Rachel. When Rachel entered the rehab facility, they brought her into a room to watch a video. In today's video, we're going to dive into the story of the woman at the well. Now let's go back to the story. John chapter 4, verses 1 to 30 tell us the story of Jesus and the woman at the well. Around noon, when the sun was shining and everyone else was hiding in the shade. But when Jesus showed up, everything changed. Jesus said to the woman, "Give me a drink," which shocked her, and after he drank, Jesus told her to go get her father. Then he told her, "Go, call your father, come here." When Jesus heard this, he said to her, "You are right. What you have now is not an honorable marriage." Then Jesus tells her that she shouldn't worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because salvation comes from the Jews alone. And right there, Jesus revealed himself to be the Messiah. The entire city saw the work of Jesus through this one woman. First, Jesus seeks out the lost. You see, this woman was lost in every sense of the word. Second, Jesus honors those he calls. When Jesus called the woman at the well, he didn't degrade her or shame her for her past. Finally, Jesus uses the least likely people. If you read through the Gospels, you'll notice that Jesus surrounded himself with fishermen, tax collectors, and prostitutes. So I want to ask you, are you willing to say yes to Jesus? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below of how this video impacted you.